What is a knowledge base? A knowledge base is a very broad term that is used to describe a variety of things. At its core, a knowledge base is where questions are answered. Most often, a knowledge base is a place where you can store content that can be pulled by different groups for different purposes to answer different questions. Those questions might come from customers, prospects, or employees. Imagine you're using an app on your phone. It pops up a message that you don't understand. This message locks you out of your phone. You don't know what to do next, so you start searching for answers. The makers of the app don't mention this message in their help file, and the internet turns up dozens of pages trying to sell you related things, online discussion forums, FAQ documentation, and PDF files that are kind of related, but they still don't tell you what you need to do. If it eventually turns out that the message wasn't supposed to be popping up at all, it's a bug. And there's some ways to work around it, but unfortunately for the user, it was on line 20 of an internal email in a few people's inboxes. This is an example of where knowledge bases and knowledge experiences become important to customer experience and your brand-customer relationship. Now let's say that you work for the app maker, and it's your responsibility to make sure that this kind of situation leaves your customers with the best possible experience and impression of your brand. There are many ways your organization could provide a knowledge base to your audiences to answer this type of question, but they're far from equal. Far too many organizations start with a software system, like a specific knowledge-based platform, hoping that its features and functions will solve knowledge management for them. Don't do that. If you're thinking about knowledge management as a software problem, then your solution will be limited by the software you buy. And probably you'll not even get as much value out of that as you potentially could. Before you address your knowledge software, you're going to have to reframe the problem you're trying to solve. The problem isn't a lack of a knowledge base. You really have two problems. First, you need to capture all the best and most up-to-date knowledge, both from within your organization and your user communities. And then you have to be able to redistribute it everywhere it needs to go, fast, without overwhelming the people searching for answers. For that, you need a knowledge strategy. So how do organizations build effective knowledge strategies, support them with efficient knowledge platforms, in order to deliver a great knowledge experience to all their different users? The value of a knowledge base comes down mainly to these factors: the content itself, both what it says and how it's organized, governance around it, the content management capabilities and search capabilities, the interface design, and the integration possibilities. Essentially, a good knowledge base should make it easy to create content, manage content, and surface content in a way that any potential users can easily find what they need. In our example, the app makers failed to do that. They published lots of quality content on many channels, but the right piece of knowledge was still too hard to find. So the answer existed, but they didn't have the processes in place to make sure the knowledge got from A to B. That's the real issue here. How does your brand manage knowledge? A passive company doesn't have processes in place to capture knowledge. A reactive company tries to answer questions after they're frequently asked. A proactive company tries to build knowledge capture into their standard operating procedures so they can provide the knowledge before the question is even asked. You won't be able to buy a knowledge base that automatically turns your company from passive to proactive. You need to consider your entire knowledge strategy. A knowledge strategy has 4 key elements that must work together to be effective. These are content, design, governance, and systems. We'll start at the top, content and design. These two run in parallel. Content is the ideas presented, the words, the videos, the images, etc. They should be structured and organized into categories and useful containers. If done properly, content can work like building blocks, allowing the pieces to be put together to answer both simple and complex questions, and support a variety of different users and processes. These content blocks can be reused and reorganized to address questions throughout your organization and across your customer life cycles. In our example, the app maker would create content specifically aimed at addressing and helping the user work around the bug in the app whenever it arises. Design is the way in which content is presented, the layouts, the interfaces, and the overall experience. This is the most public aspect of your knowledge strategy. A user will have an impression of your content within milliseconds of seeing your design. Content and design run in parallel because when done right, they reinforce each other, and when done poorly, they undermine each other. Bad content makes good design totally pointless. No one ever said, "That was a great website or user interface. Too bad there was nothing useful or interesting in it." Similarly, a bad design can make even good content hard to find or consume. Once you've written your content addressing the bug, it's got to be presented in a way that the user can quickly find it and apply it. When it comes to knowledge management, content and design need to work together, and both must be good. Both content and design are built upon a framework of governance. Now, governance sounds like government, like committees, like rules, like regulations, and all sorts of slow, not fun stuff. But effective governance actually enables your organization and your systems to operate faster because it establishes clear roles and responsibilities and accountability for your digital strategy. Governance defines who gets to make what kind of decisions, so everyone knows the rules. Like in a team sport or an operating room, a theater play, or a military strategy, having clear guidelines, roles, and rules allows everyone to work faster and move in one direction. In our example, the staff member who wrote an email and sent it to the people they personally thought should know would instead have a procedure to follow that said all workarounds must be captured in content blocks in the knowledge system. A policy would then automatically route that to the people who can review and validate that block of knowledge and categorize it with tags, so that it can show up to all the people who might need to find it. In this way, governance creates an operational framework and keeps your content doing its job by making sure everyone around the content knows exactly their role and how to best add value to the overall system. Well-governed content adds value and gives people the knowledge they need quickly so they can get back to work. Poorly governed knowledge creates what we all know too well: databases, wikis, and forums full of stuff that you have to search through to find your particular needle in a haystack of irrelevant or out-of-date information. Finally, content design and governance all ultimately depend on systems. Modern computer systems are fantastic, or at least they can be. They can be fast, almost magical, anticipating our needs and interests and providing us support for all sorts of different kinds of jobs. Your knowledge systems and how you configure them should be based upon a thorough examination of your content, your design requirements, and your organizational goals. You need to tackle the 5 W's. 1. Who are your users, inside and outside your organization? 2. What questions, processes, or journeys are you trying to help them with? 3. When will they personally need knowledge on their journey? 4. Where is the best place to surface knowledge so that it's in context with what they're doing, so they don't have to stop working just to go look things up? And 5. Why are you bothering? No knowledge system is going to be useful or maintained unless it has clear, measurable goals that align with your organizational goals. If your company is proactive about analyzing the answers to these questions, you'll be able to design your content structures, your display interfaces, your systems, and maybe even systems integrations to make sure that the right knowledge gets to the people who need it in a way that's convenient for them. So, with a better knowledge strategy, our user could have found a workaround for their bug in a variety of ways. Maybe inside the app itself by chatting live with a support person. Maybe straight off a search engine results page that was pulling from the knowledge base. Maybe some new interface altogether. But however they chose to find an answer, they could have found it quickly and conveniently enough to leave them satisfied, even though they just encountered a problem. That's so much more than a knowledge base. It's an omnichannel knowledge strategy for delivering an effective, personalized knowledge experience. That helps maintain great user relationships and happy, effective staff. Well-structured, well-governed knowledge served up in a well-designed system will always keep delivering value. It's the lifeblood of your organization.